Hello. That was really close.
I don't know why that was so funny to me, but it was.
And we're back. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you. And today's series, we're actually going to be talking about health.
Health.
It's been something, actually, it's been a big topic in both of our lives. We both are still on our health journey, health kick, if you will. Forever life change. It is, we'll get to that about it being like literally health being a life change. So Brown's going to start today, and I'm just going to ask her. I'm asking her now. Can you just talk about a little bit about where your health was before, during, and after sports, during sports, everything from the past to what you did to how you felt to how you feel now during our health journey?
She wants me to take you like back.
Back.
Buttercream, croc skin. Health. No, okay. I'll be serious. But like we said in other
Series,
trilogy. Like we said in other videos, how about we go with that? We have been athletes for our entire life. So the first sport I ever did, gymnastics, that didn't last very long. Same thing with Brooklyn. But the first sport that I ever got into seriously was at 6 years old, track and field in the Junior Olympics. Brooklyn was taekwondo. So sports, as far as exercise, which is a huge part of health in our life, exercise, getting our body moving, have been a staple for us. So 6 years old to now 30. We've always been a part of exercising, working out, gym, track, softball, volleyball, basketball, and most recently football. So I think that for us, we grew up athletes, and we didn't really eat the best growing up. I mean, bless our parents' heart, both of them worked really hard. Our dad was a bus driver. Our mom worked for CU Health Sciences Center and did a lot of things that I had no idea what she was doing, but super smart. So dinners a lot of times were, McDonald's or fast food. There were times, my mom can cook. My dad can cook too, but cube steak and mashed potatoes, that was my take me down, take me up, take me wherever, just give it to me. Food, we never really focused on nutrition. We never even, and now that I think about it, like even in school growing up, they talk about the food pyramid and, all the bread and stuff's on the bottom, and then I think sugar's on the top with candy. So I remember briefly learning growing up about different things as far as nutrition goes, but I don't think that I ever got any real strict or serious relationships. That's not the word. I never think I got any strict, serious feedback on like how to properly fuel my body. So I think sports kept us for the most part in shape. When I was a track runner, I remember we used to have to wear the sports bras and the briefs. Like at 6 years old till about 13, I had a little six pack. I was pretty jacked. At 13, I guess I decided I liked food a little too much to be a track runner. I don't know what happened, but it ended for me, and we went to the next sport. So as we kept going with life, we ate more, we were working out, but in college, I think that's when health kind of takes a different toll. You're a college athlete. Most college athletes that I know are partying. I drank a lot in college. I was involved in a lot of activities I maybe shouldn't have been. I was at the bars a lot. But the part of that is like you're drinking, but then you're working out for 5 hours, right? You're drinking, but then you have 2-a-days, conditioning, weightlifting, infield, outfield, gym. So all these different things that like kind of kept us in shape. But when college ended for us, that's when probably Brooklyn too, that's when we got to our heaviest. So I was at about 289 pounds, and it's funny because like day to day you don't really realize something's changing, and then all of a sudden you're like not looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're like breathing heavy walking up the stairs, which is kind of an identity crisis, because at one point in your life you're like All-American, first team All-Region, first team All-Conference, and your identity's wrapped up in all these awards you've gotten or the accolades you've gotten, most home runs, most RBIs, whatever that looks like. You're just this person that has all these good things, tallied up next to their name. Fields, 25, blah, 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 like down the sports column. Mm-hmm. So you just have these things that it's like, you don't think about your health because your identity's tied in some of the things that you've produced, right? So then you get done with sports and your identity's no longer in that sport. It's like, well, now who am I? And I think that for myself, I would say, and there's probably a lot of you out there like this, food is a comfort for me. You know, like I found myself at a point where I was like, oh, I'm gonna start this healthy thing. I'm gonna be healthy. And again, because you don't know nutrition, healthy for me is like, I'm gonna have a salad, right? So during the day, I'd maybe have a salad, have some water. I was being healthy, you know, like I was real hydrated. But then people would go to bed, like my roommates, Brooklyn, like people would go to bed, and I'd sneak out to like binge on Taco Bell. That's my thing. Still my thing to this day. Like I'm very disciplined in it now, but I would just binge on food because if people weren't watching me, it didn't count, right? And I would do this thing where, and then I would literally eat till I got sick. Like, why are you eating this donut? You know you don't want this donut. I'll even tell you what kind of donut. Those Intamin's donuts in the pack of 2. Holy crap. Those things are so good. And I would just, nope, just the chocolate ones. And I would just go and eat them and probably have like 4 packs. You know, just run to 7-Eleven, buy 4 packs, eat them really fast, and then go home and be like, why did you do this? You know, and I think it was more for a comfort thing. But that's when, you know, a program came into my life, and like most of my closest friends now are involved in this company, but that just came alongside of me and helped me to understand food. You know, food doesn't have to be like your enemy. It doesn't have to be this hard thing. It doesn't have to be this thing where you're like, I can't have that, you know, because it's restricting. So when I finally learned, and I even struggle some days now, you know, like I think the biggest thing for me, I'll lose weight and I'll start losing weight and people will be like, oh my gosh, Brylan, like you look so great. And I'm like, yeah, I look great. I'm going to reward myself with food. Yeah. Like, what?
That's true. That is true.
And so it was the craziest thing because it was a comfort thing. And I think that in my mind, I would tell myself this story of like, I would say like, oh, I'm just a big girl. And that was the story I'd tell myself. So when people started to say like, oh, you're looking skinny, I'd be like, well, I'm just a big girl. Like, I'm good. So that means I can go eat something. And the other thing that I would do besides food being a comfort was my humor started to be a comfort. So I would do this thing where people would, you know, before people could call me chubby or call me fat or whatever, and not that people would, but since I thought it about myself, I would make fat jokes first before people could say it to me. So like I would hurt myself before anyone ever could, you know? So if I'm laughing at me, like, I don't really care if you are, right? Mm-hmm. Which was really just a cover up. And I think that even till this day, those are 2 things that like, if something's going on in my life, I will use, I'm getting a lot better at it now. I think that sometimes we relapse on food, if you will. We have some lapses in our judgment, but I'm getting a lot more aware now, you know, like if something's not funny, like it's not funny. So I don't joke about it. You know, if I start to see myself slipping 2, 3, 4 days at a time, I have to take a pause back and say like, why are you doing this? You know, because it's not the food. It's not where I'm at that point in my life. Something's going on that I've chosen to use the food to hide that emotion or that feeling. So I think just really getting around people that were on that same health journey, were on that same feeling. And I kind of skipped over this part, but what really rung it in for us was like, we started to get healthy. Then we're like, oh, that was cool. But that was high five, 24 days. We did it. But then our mom was diagnosed with diabetes. We were like, I remember she sent us a text. She said, you know, I'm going to have to prick my finger every day for the rest of my life to test my blood levels or glucose levels. And she was really upset. And heart problems run on both our mom and dad's side of the family. So we were like, oh, so this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing now. And you know, Brooklyn jokes, and I don't know if this is a story we share on our show, but we're going to share it because raw, regular, and something else.
Real, raw, and regular is what she says.
But she, I mean, we were just sad at one point, and Brooklyn came to me, and she was like, I got it. Like, I got it. The master plan.
Real story.
And I was like, what? You know, I'm thinking like, I don't know what I was thinking she was thinking, but she was like, let's just do drugs. And I was like, what? She says, yeah, like, I hear that if you do a lot of drugs, you start to, like, not want to eat, you get really skinny. She said, we'll do drugs, but we won't let each other get addicted. And I said, what the hell? She's like, yeah, we'll get skinny. And
oh my goodness.
I said, Brooklyn, I don't think you get skinny unless you get addicted. Like, that was kind of the devastating point, and we can laugh now.
Yeah.
But she was serious.
Yeah. Now we can laugh because it was a serious thing, because
we were just that sad. We were that far away from the people that we knew. We were that far away from our identities in Christ. We were that far away from just anything that like held us to, hey, here's who we want to be. We just didn't know like, we didn't know who we wanted to be, but forget that. We didn't know who we were, right? And thank goodness we didn't do that. Like,
Yeah, thank
brought her back
goodness.
to reality. So yeah, that's a little bit about health and my version of it. But I think the biggest thing to do is understand nutrition for yourself. You know, understand what goals you're trying to hit. And then we are overwhelmed. We are inundated with information out there, right? Like, you can literally Google healthy meal plan. There's a million bajillion things on Pinterest. There's a million trainers, a million nutritionists. Like, get with someone that can hold you accountable to your goals. People that you trust, people that you're gonna literally give permission to say, like, hey, if you see me doing this, I need your help. Like, poor Brooklyn. And, you know, I'm so grateful to all my friends and all my family. And part of our sisterhood even, and this is a little bit off the topic of health, but sometimes you're meanest to the people that you're closest with, right? So in this health journey, Brooklyn knows what my goals are. And she will, like, look at me sometimes out to eat and be like, do you really want to eat that? You know, and in a loving way where I'd asked her to do that. And I would get so freaking mad. Like, it would make me so mad. Like, I would be so offended by her. Like, how dare you tell me I can't have this Red Lobster cheese biscuit? Like, you know how I feel about Red Lobster cheese biscuits. But I asked her to hold me accountable. So that's just another part of, like, health and our sisterhood growing up is, like, I know that now I know it comes from a place of love, but get yourself somebody that can help you. And accountability doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm going to do it so I can cheat and have them tell me no. Like, be accountable to yourself. But when you do have that occasion where you start to slide, like, have that set up for yourself. When I started my health journey, there was like 5 people at work starting with me. All of my breast. They didn't. They started with me.
All of them?
They've lost.
They've
all
lost.
all my best friends started with me. Yeah, like, everywhere I turned, somebody was on this journey with me. Just because I needed that accountability in the beginning, and now I know. Now I'm a little bit better. I mean, obviously, I have good days, I have bad days. A lot of the things that I like to say to people is persistence over perfection. You know, if I eat the pizza on Friday, I used to, like, beat myself up for it and be like, oh, chubby, like, why'd you do that? You know, and now I'm like, all right, I had the piece of pizza. I'm not going to do it again for, you know, I don't need that. That's not going to get me closer to whatever goal I'd set for myself football wise, or, you know, there's other people counting on me to be the best version of myself, and discipline's a big part of that. So
at 289, you said that that's where you started out on this health journey. How much weight have you lost?
So I got to my lowest at 280. That's a lie. That'd only be like 4 pounds. 184. So 105 pounds at my heaviest. I've kept at my lightest, but I've kept 89 of that off. During football season, I fluctuate between 10 and 15 pounds, and there was even a time where I kind of lost myself again throughout that 5 years and put on 35 pounds. So it's a constant battle, and it's just being honest with yourself. And if you're struggling in your weight, like, one thing I encourage you not to do, like, don't keep saying, like, oh, I'm so fat. Like, oh, I'm so happy. Because what you feed flourishes. What you focus on, it continues to happen. So if you keep saying, like, here's where I used to be, you're, like, focusing on that, and you're losing track of where you are now. Like, you're not there anymore. Here's where you are. Where are we going? Exactly. So when you're hurting, and, like, you know, Facebook is so great at, like, time hop. Sometimes the time hop comes up and I'm like, man, I was crazy. Sometimes it comes up, I'm like, dang, what happened? You know? So it could be a blessing and a curse, if you will, but get really honest with yourself about where you are now. Set up that accountability for yourself, and don't feed, like, negative thoughts. Don't feed, like, oh, I wish I was this. Like, take action towards that. You know, we spend so much time hating our bodies, or at least for me, like, picking out the flaws. You know, you're taking the selfies and you take, like, 30 of them, and you're like, oh, my chin there, like, my neck there, my cheeks there. Like for me, I'm always, like, trying to get this dimple to pop out.
The cute dimple, the side smile.
I only have one. The one on this side. But you take so many, and we are so mean to ourselves, right? So I encourage you to start now where you are, loving your body where it is, and just knowing, like, guys, this is live. I talk to my belly. I'm like, I love you so much, belly, but you're going away. Like, I love you right now, but we're killing you, you know, and just have a good time with it. So that's a little bit about learning. Yeah. We didn't get deep into, like, the nutrition, but that's kind of full circle our journey with the things that we still struggle with, the things that we did struggle with, and what we'd like to do in the future. Just start where you are. Start where you are, take steps forward.
Yeah, good. And I think, just wrapping this up, I think health is such a big, big part of our life. That throughout this series, we'll probably take you to the gym with us. We'll take you to the gym with us. We'll take you food shopping with us and just show you, like, really behind the scenes.
Why I always do this.
You have lockjaw? I don't know.
I just can't.
We'll take you in our journey with that because health is so important, and I feel like health is a big part of a growth journey. I feel like success comes from within, and we are strong believers that when you feel good physically, it makes you feel good within. Mentally, spiritually. So it's a big, big part of our life.
I think they call it a holistic approach. What you put in,
not holistic. Holistic.
She's so crazy.
You're so goofy.
So romantic.
But yeah, so definitely that's where our journey started with health, and she got it really good, especially about the drug story. That was awesome because it's funny now to laugh at.
I wish you guys could have seen the way I looked at her.
I wish you could have seen the look in my face because it was real. Like,
I had to go through her room to see if she was already on them. I was like, no, she is not coming in here with this nonsense.
I was serious. But yeah, so we'll dive further into our health journey in different in other series, and we can't wait to bring you along in the gym, along with food prep, along with grocery shopping, how we do it. But thank you for joining in today, and we will see you next time. I know it's me.